Hi there, I'm Chris Wade. I'm a speech therapist based over in the UK, and I do vast majority of the work I do is SEN appeal. So that's assessments where one party says one thing with regards to speech therapy or other aspects of the child's development, and another part, and then the parents seek an additional opinion, so a second opinion, and what we then do is we take both opinions, we work out not who's right and who's wrong, but we create a picture of the child based on two professionals, so two speech therapists, for example, coming together and saying, right, these are what the strengths are, this is what the needs are, this is what the snapshot assessment results were on the day, etc. And then we kind of come to a conclusion with regards to what intervention, whether it's direct, indirect, training, groups, one-to-one, all of that is needed for the child to kind of meet their potential in education. There's not always agreement, and therefore it goes to tribunal. When it goes to tribunal, both sides, so the local authorities, so the council side, presents evidence, and then the parents, if they can afford, go down the route of collecting independent assessments, or not collecting, but commissioning independent assessments, that's the word I wanted, to kind of give another opinion. So often it might be a speech therapist, or educational psychologist, and a occupational therapist. Sorry, my mind's going blank. So we've got these two sets of opinions, and then we bring it all together within the hearing, and if we can't come to an agreement, then questions are asked of each witness, and then the panel members, so the expert panel members or the judge, will ask further questions, and then if the further agreement still can't be made, then the expert panel members and judge will meet afterwards and come to a conclusion as to based what the child's needs are, what their strengths are, what their special educational needs are, and also what provision would meet them needs. And that could be one side's recommendations, could be the other side's recommendations, or it could be a mixture of two. Or they could actually recommend and state that a child needs something completely different. It doesn't often happen. So one of the things I do as a speech therapist is I review the report written by the other speech therapists. So I often work for local authorities. It'll be reviewing an independent therapist report, or I work as an independent therapist, and that's reviewing the NHS or the local authority speech therapist report. And what we're doing is we're considering all the information that's there. We're looking for gaps. So we're looking at, okay, you've done X, Y, and Z assessment. I'll do this assessment to see where the gaps are, so we can kind of get a full picture, an extensive picture of the child's strengths and needs. And then the recommendations and the kind of descriptions in these plans is as accurate as possible. My concern is that 4 years ago, one of the gold standard assessments, which was the CELF 4, the Clinical Evaluation of Language Fundamentals 4, was what I feel and what a lot of clinicians in the NHS and local authorities feel was replaced by the CELF 5. So the CELF 5 was published in 2017. It's based on data from 2010 in terms of cohort studies with regards to language development. There's differences between the CELF 4 and the CELF 5, but not significant differences. So yes, there'll be certain aspects that the CELF 4 looked at and the CELF 5 didn't look at, but the CELF 5 also looks at things that the CELF 4 didn't look at. I'm not going to go into the technical side. What I've called on today is for Pearson Clinical UK, who are the publisher of this instrument that we use as speech therapists, to tell us when to stop using the CELF 4 and when to start using the CELF 5. Because more often than not, because of the cost of purchasing the CELF 5, those therapists that are working for local authorities or working for the NHS don't often have access to the most recent assessment. A lot of the time they do. So the vast majority of assessments now actually will be using the CELF 5 assessment. However, I have come across quite a few where they've used the CELF 4 assessment, or the CELF 4 assessment was used a year ago and I've come in on the CELF 5 and my results are different. And the question that I've posed to Pearson is to state, like they have done in New Zealand for their speech service, when do we have to move on to the CELF 5? Because my opinion is that the CELF 5 is based on new data, some more recent data, and the CELF 4 is therefore an outdated assessment. We're getting clarity on this because it's confusing when we're comparing two assessments. You can't compare the results from a CELF 4 to a CELF 5 like for like, because some aspects of the assessment and the subtests have changed. And therefore, I've asked for clarity today. So I've tagged them in kind of a Twitter post and also contacted them via LinkedIn just to try and get clarity so we can say, right, from now on, we all need to be using this assessment. Or if you're using a CELF assessment for children over 5, then we should be using the CELF 5 and not the CELF 4. The CELF 4 can be used informally as a non-standardized assessment to gather the extra information around, especially around executive function, which the CELF 5 doesn't really scratch on. But we should be using the CELF 5 rather than the CELF 4, because my argument in these hearings is that the CELF 4 that was administered, if it was administered 6 months, 12 months ago, is an outdated assessment, and therefore the results from the most recent assessment supersede this, but also the results are from an up-to-date assessment based on new developmental norms, or new a cohort study that is more recent than the cohort study for the CELF 4 assessment. As soon as I get more information, I'll let people know. So I'll publish it on my social media channels as to what the statement is from Pearson Clinical UK with regards to moving from CELF 4 to CELF 5. I hope that's helpful. Thanks. Bye.